Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Hsci2112W. I thought I'd leave you an overview in video form today so that you are reminded that I'm still a person and not just a, a bot that's answering your emails and discussion boards and grading your assignments. So here we are. It's hard to believe, almost halfway through the course. I really enjoyed reading the assignments that you were posting, learning a little bit about how you're dealing with the process in your journal articles, in your journal entries, and then also, of course, hearing about awarenesses that you come to as you're working through the course. As you have probably figured out, this is a course that is not just about how to write, but also how to write in a way that's appropriate to health sciences, and also teaching you the style that is necessary. Now, in case you're wondering, the style that you're learning through the APA 7 handbook is not just made up. It's a style book like many others. There are many different style books, including the Chicago, Turabian, I can't think, there's so many, I can't think of another one at the moment, but they are different types of styles typically used by different disciplines. In health science, APA is, the American Psychological Association, is a style that we use. So as you're learning how to be a better writer, you're also learning how to put your work in writing in a style required for health science professionals. I want to make a couple comments about things that I'm seeing that are really showing me that you're starting to get the point of the process of writing. I've read some things from people that I could start to see how they're not just dealing with 2 or 3 separate articles, but they're starting to see how there's a relationship to them. We're going to be moving into more of an integrating of the different articles that you have looked up and are using in your writing. So in session 4 this week, we'll be focusing on process analysis, comparison and contrast, and cause and effect in your informative essay. So you'll be reading, of course, from your textbook, and there are a number of other things on the checklist that we want you to do, which I will also post in the announcement below, so you can keep track of where you're, where you are in the process. So the next step in the process of developing your paper will be to start to integrate what you're learning from the different literature that you've been reading, so that you can start to talk about the relationship of maybe different types of findings, or maybe different types of studies, or maybe even talk about where language is confusing, where one set of authors might use a certain type of language and another set of authors uses a different type of language. So the thing to always to remember is that the reader, it doesn't matter if it's me or one of your peers or someone that you don't even know, can only go by what is in writing. And I know for writers, it's often hard to imagine that someone is reading this blind. They don't know who the author is, they don't know what they look like, they don't know their idiosyncrasies, because that's not how we review literature that is published in our field and in most every other field in a university. All they see is what's on paper. So if some thoughts aren't communicated well, or if they're not communicated in a way that makes it easy for the reader to understand what's going on in the in your expose of what you've researched in the literature, they're not going to be able to say, oh, well, that's the way, Mary talks, or that's the way John phrases things because they don't know you. It's blind. And even if you know the author, those sort of idiosyncrasies that you might use in colloquial language, like a conversation, aren't always appropriate in writing. But we're going to start to get a little bit more specific on how you can make your paper something that's really informative, but also critically analyzed. And that's what this week is about. You have a quiz to take. You will be providing to me by Wednesday for your e-conference a set of questions. Let me go back up there to the assignment, sorry. Here we go. So you'll be providing me with some questions regarding your work. Make sure you read through this so you're sending me the exact information that would be needed. We're not going to have a synchronous time to meet. It'll be asynchronous. But think about, questions that are important to you right now to learn more about, that I can expound on and get back to you with some feedback. You can see here are some good examples of good questions. During collaboration with my peers, I was told that this section of my paper was interesting and that I should expand on it. I'm concerned about how I might do this without being repetitive. Can you offer any suggestions on how I might further develop this argument? That's very specific. It gives me the opportunity to give you feedback that's really going to help you. Other types of questions, that are not as helpful, and I hope not to see any of these types of questions. I want to get an A so you can tell me if this is an A assignment. That's not the type of question I'd like to hear you ask. I'm not solely concerned about your grade. I know you're probably more concerned about your grade, but my concern is that you leave this course with a stronger sense of writing. Another question. My draft is already good. Can I just go ahead and turn it in? That doesn't show a whole lot of interest in understanding the process of writing and the importance of peer feedback, it either being me or the other peers in your class cohort here. Okay. Lastly, I want to discuss some problems I've been having with grading certain assignments. It's really important that I'm able to put comments into the assignments that you're posting to the gradebook. If you post something in PDF or in Pages, for instance, I cannot comment right into the document because I would have to take the document. Well, I can't do it at all in PDF form. In Pages, I would have to take it down off Blackboard, put it into on my desktop, open it up, put the comments there, and then even then I can't reattach the paper to the Blackboard. So I'm just making a requirement. I've sent out to some of you emails. The only accepted version of any of your assignments is in MS Word. If it's the type of assignment where you write right into the portal, like your reflective journaling, no need to attach a document, just put what you're writing right in there. This speeds along the process of me being able to grade your assignments and get them back to you. But more than that, it gives me an opportunity to give you commentary right into the paper. And then the third thing is, typically when you are submitting work, say you're submitting it to a publisher, say you're submitting it to as a report to your boss or something. Typically, we need it to be accessible so that people can comment on it, unless noted otherwise. Sometimes you'll be asked for something in a PDF form. For the purpose of this class, what we want to do is make sure that I can make comments right into the Blackboard so that you have them available to you, but then also that they're documented in Blackboard. So if everyone could please sort of shift to that. What I'm doing right now is if I find a PDF or if I find pages, I'm just deleting the attempt and waiting for people to send me back the appropriate file. Okay. Lastly, as you may have noted last week, I sent sort of an update on what you should be doing as far as all your assignments. There are many things to do every week. I am perfectly aware of that, and it can sometimes get confusing. I did notice some people were falling behind, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone realized what was due up till yesterday, Sunday, which would be sessions 1, 2, and 3. Of course, as we embark on session 4, I ask that you carefully look over what's due and when it's due, so that you can keep on track. These 8-week courses are difficult. It's very easy to get behind, and sometimes you get so far behind, there's no way you can get yourself out of it. So I just want to, encourage everyone to continue to stay on top of things so that you can finish this course successfully and, of course, produce the best work possible. Lastly, I wanted to remind everyone that part of your discussion board grade is dependent on you responding to other people in your class. So I see some discussion board entries that I have not given credit for yet because students have not reached out to give feedback to other students. So if you haven't given feedback to others in a discussion board, I've yet to provide you with credit for that. So please keep that in mind at all times, because it's important that we all have an opportunity to get feedback, but also to give feedback. That's how we learn in this type of class. Okay, so I look forward to seeing your work this week. I look forward to getting your questions regarding our e-conference, and I'm going to try to turn them around as quickly as possible. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to either put them in Ask the Prof discussion board, or you can send me a direct email if it's something of more private nature. Okay, thank you, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the boards, and have a great week. Bye-bye.